Good morning, students. Dear student, day before yesterday, I have discussed with you the topic human capital formation, which means investment in all those projects, institutions, establishments which increases knowledge, efficiency, and skill of the people. Now, I am going to discuss with you human capital and economic growth. Yesterday, I have also discussed with you about the sources of human capital formation. There are various sources of human capital formation, like the investment in those institutions, those projects which increase knowledge, efficiency, skill, talent of the people. Now, what are those institutions? What are those projects? What are those establishments? This may be healthcare facilities provided services, or it may be educational facilities providing services, or it may be those institutions which increases knowledge skill of the people like ITI polytechnics. So human capital formation in very simple word means investment in educational facilities, investment in medical facilities, investment in skill provided institutions, ITI polytechnics or medical colleges which increases knowledge, skill, efficiency, talent of the people. Now the question arises, is there any role between human capital formation and economic growth? Dear students, there is a direct relation between human capital and economic growth. Now you can think that if a person is not feeling well, how he will work, or his contribution to the work will be less or more. Simply a sick person's contribution, an uneducated person contribution, a non-skilled labor's contribution to the national income, or in simple words, his contribution to his work will be less as compared to trained person, educated person, skilled person, knowledgeable person. So today's topic is human capital and economic growth. Who contribute more to the national income? A worker in a factory or a software professional? It means whose contribution will be more to the national income. Here two situations are given. First situation is a worker who is illiterate, who does not have perfect knowledge, who is not have lack of skill in his work, or a software professional. Simply if I ask you the question, tell me whose contribution will be more, a untrained worker, an uneducated person, or a software professional? You simply reply me the contribution of the software professional will be more as compared to a worker in a factory. Now why? We know that labor skill of an educated person is more than that of the uneducated person, and that of the farmer generates more income than later. Economic growth means increase in real national income of a country. Naturally, the contribution of educated person to economic growth is more than that of illiterate person. If a healthy person could provide uninterrupted labor services for a longer period of time, then health is also an important factor for economic growth. Thus, both education and health, along with many other factors like on the job training, job market information, and migration increases individuals' income generating capacity. Here my means to say that when a nation invests increasing knowledge, increasing talent, increasing skill, increasing health of an individuals, that put positive effect on the economic growth of a country, because a healthy person can work more hours as compared to sick person. In the same way, a skilled person can perform his job many times better as compared to unskilled person. And when a person is skilled, what happens? This enhanced productivity of human beings or human capital contributes substantially not towards increasing labor productivity, but also stimulates innovations and create ability to observe new technology. Education provides knowledge to understand change in the society and scientific advancement, thus facilitates inventions and innovation. Similarly, the availability of educated labor force facilitates adoption of new technology. In this paragraph, it is told that an educated person's productivity will be more as compared to uneducated person. How the capacity to produce of educated person will be more? Because He has technique to know his work. He has skill to know the job. He has skill to perform his job, and if any new inventions or new innovations takes place, he can easily adopt this, which is not possible for an uneducated person. It means if we have the educated labor, if we have the trained labor, if we have the skilled labor, it will be beneficial for the growth of a nation, and it will not only increase the national income in terms of rupees, but it also increases real national income. Real national income, here I have discussed with you the national income increase in real terms, not only in monetary terms, but increase in the national income in real terms. Here I am discussing with you in the class 11 that when national income increases at the constant price, it is called increase in national income in the real terms. Now, empirical evidences to prove that increase in human capital causes economic growth is rather nebulous. This may be because of measurement problem. For example, educational measure in terms of years of schooling, teacher-pupil ratio and enrollment rates may not reflect the quality of education. Health services measure in monetary terms, life expectancy and mortality rate may not reflect the true health status of people in the country. Using the indicators mentioned above, an analysis of improvement in education and health services and growth in real per capita income, both developing and developed countries, shows that there is convergence in the measures of human capital, but no sign of convergence of per capita real income. In other words, human capital growth in developing countries has faster, but the growth of per capita real income has not been the fast. There are reasons to believe that causality between human capital and economic growth flows in either direction. That is, higher income causes building of high level of human capital and vice versa. That is high level of human capital causes growth of income. Simply in this paragraph it was explained that investment in the health facilities, investment in the educational facilities cannot be directly measure their contribution to economic growth, but they contribute to the growth of the nation, growth of the national income, growth of the real national income. India recognized the importance of human capital in economic growth long ago. 7th 5-year plan says human resource development to be assigned a key role in the development strategy, particularly in a country with a large population trained and educated on the sound lines. A large population can itself become an asset in accelerating economic growth and in ensuring social change in the desired directions. In this paragraph, it clearly states that India has also understood the importance of human capital in economic growth. Means they have clearly understand that investment not only in the physical asset but investment in the human capital, investment in the human beings is also an important for the economic growth of a country. Keeping in the mind this point, in the 7th 5-year plans, our nation builders have given a great importance to the investment in the human capital, because they say that human resources development played a key role in the development strategy, and particularly when we have a large population. Trained and educated on sound lines, a large population can itself become an asset in accelerating economic growth and ensuring social change in the desired directions. Now, it is difficult to establish a relation of cause and effect from the growth of human capital to economic growth, but we can see that these sectors have grown simultaneously. Growth in the each sector probably has reinforced the growth of every other sector. Basically, the investment in the human capital also promote productivity, also increase efficiency of the other sector. We cannot directly find cause and effect relationship between human capital and economic growth, but from this table we can clearly find that there is some role of education and health services to increase per capita income, to increase real national income of the country. For example, in this table 5.1 shows some indicators of development in education and health sector. Particularly in 1951, the real per capita income was 5,708, but which increases to 8,594 in the 1984, and which continuously rising. Crude death rate means the newborn baby's death rate has also declined. Infant mortality rate has also declined, and life expectancy, both male female literacy rate has also increased. Basically, this table is drawn to show that investment in the education, investment in the health services increases per capita income, reduces infant mortality rate, life expectancy has increased, literacy rate has also increased. Means this table is drawn basically to tell you, to show you that when government takes certain steps for human capital formation, it directly puts positive effect, it directly gives right direction, positive direction, favorable direction to the various other sectors of the economy, like increase in the expenditure on health services reduces infant mortality rate. Expenditure on health sectors by the government reduces crude death rate. Also increases life expectancy, means how long a person will live in a particular year, also increases. For example, in 1951, the life expectancy for male was 37.2. It means expected life in the 1951 was 37 years 2 months, and females expected life in 1951 was 36 years and 2 months, which increases 64 years and 6 months for male, 67 and 7 months for female in 2012, and this is only possible due to government's expenditure on health services, and which is a part of human capital formation.